All right, guys, I want to welcome everyone back in. Today is the preview for week 4 of the college football season. Today is September 24th of 2021. Welcome back, guys. Last week was a good one. We had a good one last week. No complaints from me. Now, this week for me, I think this one can be a really, really good week. I really do. I mean, you got 2 neutral site games. I'm going to give you some upset alerts that I think teams that may be on that upset alert. We got a couple top 25 games. But let's go ahead and get into it. First off, let's unveil my week 4 top 10. Of course, number 1, you got to go with Alabama at number 1. I got number 2, I got Georgia at 3-0, holding steady, both of those. I got Oregon moving up to number 3 from 4. I got Oklahoma falling back 1 spot. I got Texas A&M at number 5. I got Penn State moving up from number 9 to number 6. I have Iowa holding steady at 7 at 3-0. I got Cincinnati, who I'm very high on. Everyone knows that. Great win against Indiana, but I have them holding at 8 at this moment. I got Ohio State at number 9, moving up 1 spot. I got Clemson falling all the way back from 5 to 10. And we're going to talk to Clemson a little bit here in a little bit. I actually have them on upset alert this week. Going to Raleigh, playing NC State. I mean, not an easy match. And I'm not sold on Clemson's offense just yet. I am not. Until they correct that. The schedule, they should win everything. They should win everything out. But I'm not sold on Clemson's offense. I'm just not sold on it yet. Maybe here in a couple weeks they might show me, or they might even show me this game. But as of right now, they're holding right at 10. The games that I'm going to cover last week ended up going 4-1 in my picks. Not a bad week. Nice rebound from the week before. The first game that I want to go ahead and talk about here, and I had Curtis King on. This episode will also be released on the same day here later. We talked a little bit about WVU. We talked a little bit about the Oklahoma game. Oklahoma, the Washington goes at Oklahoma. Playing the 4th-ranked Sooners, a 7:30 kickoff. Oklahoma right now is a 17-point favorite. Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. I feel like as a fan, I feel like you have to feel a little good going into that game. It's not all doom and gloom. You end up being a top 15 team. I personally didn't think they were a top 15 team, but I don't vote in the polls. That at the end of the day, it's still a top 10 win. Top 15 win, sorry. Now, the keys to the game for me, can W, and that's been the problem with Oklahoma when they play Oklahoma, is can they limit the big plays? That's going to be really what you're going to ask yourself. Can W limit the big plays? Because right now, Washington, I saw a stat today which kind of surprised me. Washington's first in red zone defense in the nation. First in red zone defense. I understand it's only 3 games in. Okay. And also WVU is 0-8 versus OU since joining the Big 12. All right. And here's a nice little stat for you here. I talked a little bit about this in the other episode too. But we'll go get a little more in depth with this. Okay. In the last 4 meetings that they didn't play last year because of COVID. Oklahoma has scored more than 52 points in all the last 4 meetings. All right. And since W joined the Big 12, Oklahoma has scored at least 44 points in 7 of the 8 meetings. The only game that they did not score any more than those 44 points was 16 points in 2013. All right. That was a 16-7 game in Norman. That was the second time they played each other in the Big 12. That's when I say, can W limit the big plays? Because if W, like I said, the red zone defense as of right now is holding steady. I think Washington's got a solid defense. It's not an elite defense by any stretch of the imagination, but Neil Brown has got a solid defense in Morgantown. Now, you're going to have to clean up the third down efficiency, because going 3 for 12 against Virginia Tech, I understand Virginia Tech might have a decent defense, but you're going to have to score points. And as this previous stat that I just gave you indicates anything, if you don't put points up, you're not going to win. And I understand there's been two previous matchups. Let's go back to 2012. Okay, it's the first year W played in the Big 12. Oklahoma comes to town, Landry Jones, and Washington had Geno, Stedman, Tavon, electric team, and W was in a little rough patch there. And still, Oklahoma, they had Oklahoma in the ropes going all the way down. Oklahoma drove all the way down the field, scored with, I believe, like 20-some seconds left, 24, I believe, and W ended up losing. All right, you fast forward 6 years, you go to Will Greer and company, you had David Sills, Garrett Jennings, and I believe that was one of the better W teams, and W had their opportunities and fought 2 fumbles. I think Oklahoma returned those both for touchdowns. And you had that costly late hit out of bounds. You take those plays out, I think Washington played a better game in 2018. I think that was one of the only times that W actually outplayed Oklahoma. I mean, think about that. The 2 touchdowns that Oklahoma got on defense, and you had that costly bonehead late hit out of bounds. You take those plays out, I mean, oh my goodness. I have Oklahoma winning this. I do. I have Oklahoma winning this game. Because I think they can keep it within manage. I don't believe this will be a blowout. Oklahoma's not playing very well right now. They're just not. And now, I think it's also good, too, that W is playing them early on in the season. Not playing them in late October, early, and going into November, when Oklahoma usually catches fire, as we've seen last year. So I think, listen, if I'm a W fan, you have to feel kind of good. You have to feel kind of good going into this game. There has to be some little bit of you, little percentage. I understand the last, 7 to 8 times, or you can say that even the last 8 times you have been losses. So, but I think you have to feel good about it. You really do. I mean, you're coming off an emotional win. Now, hopefully that don't carry over in a bad, negative way. I don't think it will. I think Neil Brown will have them ready. There's no way you shouldn't be pumped up to play them. After all the spankings they've given, I think W's got to have an opportunity and the will to want to win. And you got to be pumped up for this game. I know last time they played, and I think Neil Brown's only played them one time, it was I think it was like 52 to 14, something like that. And it wasn't a very good game. Now, I think Neil Brown will have them ready to play. But we'll see what happens there. Like I said, Oklahoma's a 17-point favorite. I have Oklahoma winning. But I like this. I think W will have some type of energy in this game. I really do. You clean up. You're going to have Lady Brown have a good game. Daggy's not. You cannot turn the ball over. You cannot have one single turnover in this game. You got to play like an Oregon versus Ohio State type of game. Very clean, no turnovers to win this game. You have to. If they lose the turnover battle somehow, or even turn the ball over one time and they somehow squeak out a victory, I don't know. I don't see that happening. But anything is possible. But in my eyes, if they turn the ball over at least one time, and Oklahoma somehow gets points off of it or anything, and you got to score. You got to score in opportunities. You have to score in opportunities. Every single opportunity, you've got to put points on the board against this team. I don't care what Oklahoma's done the last 3 weeks. You've got to put points up on the board. If you don't, you're looking at another ass beating. Pardon my French. But let's go ahead and move on to the noon kickoff game. We got the number 18th ranked Wisconsin versus number 12 Notre Dame. This is one of the first neutral site games of the day. I believe game day is coming here. Wisconsin is a 6.5-point favorite to win. I am not, even though Notre Dame is 3-0 coming into this game, Wisconsin's 1-1. And I still like Wisconsin winning this. Jack Cohn playing his previous team. He's going to be juiced up to play this. Brian Kelly, if he wins, becomes the all-time winningest coach in Notre Dame history. Hey, listen, I wouldn't be shocked if Notre Dame wins, but I'm not completely sold on Notre Dame. Notre Dame against Toledo, win by 3 points, beat Florida State, who's 0-3 right now at home, beat them by 3 at Florida State, took overtime to do that. I'm not completely sold on Notre Dame, but there's something about I love this Wisconsin team. I love them. I had them in my preseason top 10. I think they can get this on a neutral site at Soldier Field. I think Wisconsin can get this game. I think it's a close one. I think it resembles some type of, Big Ten game. It's got it written all over. But moving on to the next neutral site game, you have the number 7 Texas A&M versus the Hogs of Arkansas. Man, this right now is probably the toughest game that I've had to pick this entire season. Arkansas right now is the surprise team of the year in my eyes. Texas A&M, they have not looked the best. Now, their defense is elite right now, only giving up 17. They've only allowed 17 total points the entire season. You can say, who they played. Giving up only 17 points, that's still impressive to me, okay? Arkansas is looking to go 4-0 for the first time since 2003, and I believe they were 3-0 back in 2016 when they did play Texas A&M. That's the last time both those teams were ranked. Of course, as you know, Texas A&M won. So, this is going to be a good one. This is my game of the week in my eyes. I'm looking forward to this. It's a 3:30 kickoff. This one will be on CBS. So tune into that one. The next game, I got Rutgers at number 19, Michigan. Man, Michigan, we talk about Arkansas being the surprise team. What about Michigan? Michigan's Michigan. Arkansas has been the toilet bowl for the last I don't know how many years. Listen, Jim Harbaugh and Michigan, they have that. Okay, they're a run team. They have the identity now. So, they have 2 really good backs right now. Blake Corum averaging, I think, 135 yards a game. Hassan Haskins averaging 93.7 yards a game. They can run the ball, and I believe they will run the ball again. They will continue that. I believe they wipe out Rutgers. And like I said, the previous game I have, I'm going Texas A&M in that game. Sorry, didn't mean to forget that. But I have Texas A&M winning that game. The defense is too good. But then also, too, I have Michigan winning at the Big House versus Rutgers. Moving to the SEC again, I have Tennessee playing at number 11 Florida for the last game of the week. I am sold on Florida. I like Florida. I thought early on in the season, I thought that the SEC East would be Georgia was going to run all over it. I really did. Georgia's got questions a little bit on offense. They have the defense. Same with, I think Georgia will figure it out. But they play in October in Jacksonville. So we'll see. I think it's going to come down to that game. Unless one of them somehow drops one. But Florida's not dropping one this week. Tennessee hasn't won in Gainesville since 2003. Okay? Florida right now is the second rated rushing attack with averaging 335 yards. Florida is going to demolish Tennessee this week. Completely demolish them. Okay? I understand Tennessee's probably in the right direction. Josh Heupel's got them going. I understand that. But today, on this day, I think Florida comes back motivated after that close loss. And let me tell you this. I have Florida winning this. Now, let me just say this also about this season so far. It's wide open right now. Okay? I understand I sat here a couple weeks ago. I was like, man, Alabama's looking good. Alabama this. And don't get me wrong, this has nothing to do, and I know they're struggling just a little bit, and they did win last week, okay? They did win. Beat a very good Florida team in Gainesville. I think Alabama's still Alabama. But each team that's contending this year has some type of flaw with them, okay? You can look at Alabama, they're young. They're filling a lot of holes. I think they will, by the end of the year, I think they will find their way. Now, as long as they don't lose on the way, I think they might be all right. Georgia, offense. Oklahoma, starting slow on offense, not looking too good. Clemson, let's not even talk about that offense. That offense is atrocious. Okay? I don't even talk about that. So there's teams out there that doesn't look, and Ohio State's defense, C.J. Stroud out for this week as well. Their defense is horrible right now. So there is flaws. I think this year is wide open. I think this is what a lot of fans were looking for. Now, I still think Bama's the best team in the nation. Don't get me wrong. I ain't taking no hate from, anyone from Alabama. I'm sorry. But, I think that this is kind of wide open. This is wide open, and I think this is what a lot of people wanted. For any fan of the sport, I think this is what we're all asking for. I mean, it's gonna be a dogfight. I'm looking forward to it. I really am, man. Now, upset alert this week. Try something new. Okay. Like I said, Clemson, number 9 Clemson, going to NC State. NC State's, I think they have a possibility of beating them. The way Clemson's playing right now, I'm not picking this game this week, but don't be surprised if Clemson loses. Clemson has not played very good. Now, defensively, yeah, they're playing great. Offensively, I'm not sold on the quarterback position. I think they still have some things to figure out. And I think they eventually will. Is it going to be too late? Because this year, you're going to have to blow some teams out. Right now, you're falling fast with no parachute right now. I mean, you dropped 3 spots in the new AP poll coming out. I understand the AP poll has nothing to do with it. I understand that. But right now, you got to figure it out in Clemson. You got to figure it out. I think Dabo will, but I'm not sold right now. I'm just not. Now, the other one that I'm really intrigued by going to the Big 12 is number 14 Iowa State playing at Baylor. I think Baylor's got a shot. I mean, Baylor's only Iowa State's only projected to win by 7 and by a touchdown. So don't be shocked if Baylor does win this game. Now, like I said, I'm not picking this game this week, but Iowa State rebounded last week against UNLV. But we'll see. We'll see what happens against competition. But anyways, that's all I got time for this Week 4 preview. But I do want to thank you all for tuning in. If YouTube is not your thing, we also have the podcast on Apple Podcasts. We got on Spotify, and we have it on Google Play. So if you are interested in that, please check that out. But other than that, I will see you all next week. Enjoy all the games, and I'll see you all then.